Shalom Yasha'Allah. First and foremost, I want to get all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash, the violence of our apostles and elders of great millstone, who will, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect that pushes great gospel with sincerity and truth. This your brother Tazakiah, Tazakiah Yahweh, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit of power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and Lord willing be edifying. I got an article here from civilec.info, and it reads, C367, reading aloud from the Bible is hate speech to be severely punished, which just came out February 24th, 2024, hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And as it reads, it says, hair thinning legislation introduced in Canada. Critics compare Amendment C367 to the laws of communist China. Some organs of the so-called progressive press try to ridicule or present the fact of the persecution of Christians in the West are non-existent. Most recently, they served up the statement of State Secretary Mikolos Sotes, who spoke of dismissals and prisons for those who profess Christianity. Of course, the persecution of Christians in the West cannot be compared to the rest of the world, where Open Doors reports that almost 5,000 people have been killed for their Christian faith, mainly in Africa, and a total of 365 million people have been persecuted for the same reason. It says, no, in many ways, Canada is an example, sometimes even a pioneer of this trend. Just a few flavors, and say the persecution of Christians in the West is rather a product of the restriction of freedom of religion and speech, of the basic ideals on which liberal democracies were once built. So it's and you understand, like, the true Christians are ultimately the Israelites. You know, they was at Antioch when they was first called Christians, or really in the Hebrew go back to Hamashiachim. You know, those who are following after the Hamashiach, the anointed or the Messiah, right? That was said as a derogatory term. So nowadays, how Esau flipped things upside down, you take it as, this is what I identify as by my religion, but it was to identify in a derogatory way, in an insult or a slander to those trying to follow after the ways of Yahushua HaMashiach. Now, you see they keep talking about the Western Christian and all this and that. We understand that Christianity is false. It's a false way, false religion, false philosophies, whatever you want to call it, But the truth, because like I said, there's some things based upon the Christian faith that does not line up. Well, a lot of things do not line up with what the Bible actually says. So, going on, just a little info on that. So, we as Israelites, we don't subscribe to Christianity. We subscribe to the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Christianity tell you that the law was done away with. But when you read in the Bible, all you see is, especially in the Old Testament there's books of laws. But they tell you that it's done away with. So there's some parallels that don't line up. But it says, you go on to say, in 2013, the Canadian Supreme Court classified the Bible-based criticism of alphabet behavior, I would just say that, as a hate crime in connection with an otherwise really, alphabet leaflet, whatever. Right? They call that a hate crime, but it was written. So, and these are the same people who would say, I believe in God and I believe in this, but Yahweh Shai does not deal with that type of lifestyle. That lifestyle was dealt with, punishable by what? Death. As a matter of fact, let's see. Get that. I know it's Leviticus 20 or 19. Let me see. That one, let's see. It's Slovakia. I think I just looked over it. Where is it at? God, I do. Yeah, there it is. I looked over this. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13. It says, if a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a man, with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Hey, and that's in the law. So those who are adverse or against this statute, man, you against Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Point blank period. Right? I believe in God. No, you don't, because the Lord's not. He's not with that. It says, in 2017, a law was passed here in Ontario that allows children to be separated from their families in the same way if they refuse to accept and encourage their children's rights related to their, alphabet, identity. So, like, this is the world. Oh man, that we live in. If they refuse to accept it, but at the point in time, if you was living a way like that, you'd be put to death, as we just read. And say in 2021, a divorced dad, Robert Hoagland, was jailed here after calling his biological female minor child his daughter despite a court order. What? Okay. Okay. It say in 2022, we return to the Christian aspects of things, as if it were also banned, citing so-called conversion therapies for anyone to give advice promoting the family model based on Christian teachings, or which reinforce the idea that human beings are created entirely male or female from birth. Wait. I don't know. Let me just make sure I'm reading the clearer points. I mean, you just hear that, it's just madness. This is the mind of Esau, just perverse. They say, and we have just arrived at the end of the November last year when the infamous Bill C-367 of individual representation, Yves Francois Blanchette, passed the first reading in the lower house of the Canadian legislature. In this regard, the conservative lobby organization Campaign Life Coalition recently launched a campaign urging everyone to call their district representatives and reject the proposal. The conservative news site LifeSite News directly compared the proposal to anti-religious Chinese Communist legislation. So it says, for those who oppose the alphabet ideology on religious grounds, Section 319 of the Canadian Criminal Code offered protection. It says the conservative organization group points out, according to that, it says no one shall be convicted of a hate crime if that person has, in good faith, expressed an opinion or attempted to express an opinion based on religious subject or religious text. So you have to have a whole organization or a coalition to back up your religious beliefs that that come strictly out of what it says. So these people like that these people with this bill, they're calling it hate speech, but it's like because mainly it be Christians who be of this from the alphabet community. So that's confusion too. Like, how can you believe? I believe in what the Bible say, but when we get to these scriptures, I don't believe in that. That's not right. That's not human. Like, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, this is the order of how things are, and this is what happens when you put people in power who turn things upside down and they allow these types of things to exist. So you have to have a company, or some type of organization to back up your grounds of your religious beliefs that actually comes out of what they consider a religious text. It says this is how several Canadian pastors managed to avoid punishment for hate speech, right? Yeah, so that's how they were able to avoid it, because this coalition that will back you up, who openly share their opinion in public about the harmful moral and spiritual nature of the alphabet movements. In other words, if they read what the Bible said about sexuality, gender, marriage, family, or anything else, no matter how unpopular, unfit, or even hateful it seems to others, the right of self-expression belongs to those who did so. That is, that they read from the Bible. Yeah, like, so why the hell? Yeah, like, why would we? And then, like you said, you talk about freedom of speech and this and that. Why would anybody be punished by ultimately, like I said, they say, well, this is my right. That's like I said. So why would you be upset or try to impose a punishment over somebody just exercising that right? So, like, that's what I was looking for. But these people, man, they perverse. So let me see. Let me finish this up. It says, and the C-367 serves no other purpose than to eliminate this. It say the largest public opinion polling company ledger. See, that's the thing, though. Like, they call it opinion, but when you read it out of the scripture, man, that's facts. That's from the word of Yahweh Hashem Shai. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. If you do this and that, this will happen to you. Right? So that was it. It was no, well, I think this, or I hope. No, you got put to death. Right? It's no begging and pleading. It's Leger surveyed Canadian public opinion on the issue in mid-February, but at the same time, it is worth observing their narrative, which initially focused on hate speech and not on freedom of speech, that the bill will remove the privilege currently granted to religious or religious authorities on hate speech in Canada. When asked this way, 66% of Canadians agree with the amendment. As the CLC points out, if the amendment if the amendment to the law is passed, expectedly we will see a flood of accusations against pastors, churches, Christian organizations, and ordinary believers who dare to speak the truth with love in the public space. So, so pretty much the majority of Canada wants to remove your rights, so to speak, to speak that which is true. So when you speak anything in regards to the scriptures and stuff like that, and it's hateful to the people, then they can persecute you. You go to jail, you be punished by it. It says, in a more abstract sense, the victim of the whole story will be freedom of speech. See, they want to control what you say, cancel people out and all this and that. Let me see. Do we need to read this? Like I said, we can no longer publicly share God's plan for human sexuality and marriage. We will no longer be able to speak out in the name of God against shows that influence children, child abuse, or encouraging a child to change their gender, because this will be hate speech against the alphabet community. In the eyes of the law, even pro-life messages can be hate speech against women, the Post lists. While in principle, the representative who introduced it justified the proposal by taking action against anti-Semitic hate speech, which could easily be fought against based on the current hate speech laws. So I'm just going to read this last point. It says, by the way, in Western Europe and especially in the United Kingdom, there are already plenty of examples of what it looks like to carry out a hate crime by reading the Bible. If clauses like the one in Canada do not protect religious beliefs, and so now, the Bible is based upon terroristic acts and all this. See, that's the image that they want to paint. So that we don't got enough of that, bunch of madness. This is Amos chapter 5, verse 10. It says, they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. So if you're the only way that you can the main way, the only true way to speak against like the gate or like the leadership, so to speak, the country or the world, these people, whatever case may be, the best way to speak against that is what? Using the scriptures, using the words of Yahweh Shem Shai, the supreme king, supreme ruler, supreme creator, so forth and so on. Don't nobody words trump his, so that's the best way to rebuke, by his ways, by his statutes, by his laws that come from the heavens, right? It said they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. Hey, if you speaking out of the Quran, if you speaking out of the Nag Hammadi, you speaking out of the Book of Mormon, you speaking out of whatever, Buddha, whatever the hell they read, hey man, that's not speaking uprightly, right? That's speaking profanely. The only way that you can speak uprightly is what? Through the scripture, through the word of Yahweh Shem Shai, who everybody so-called say they believe in, right? But nobody wants to hear that, right? I don't want to hear that because God love everybody and all this and that. Oh man. But once